Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here and welcome to a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video we are once again here with the Ninjago Legacy Juniors Jay's Electromech set. That's quite the mouthful for such a really garbage thing. But yeah, if you guys have not seen my original review video on this, I highly recommend you check it out because I broke down a lot of things in that video that I thought were good about this set, but the majority of it was overly negative. Because of that, I wanted to eventually modify this thing. My original plan was to break it into a million pieces, but once I realized that some parts in here are actually decent parts and I can actually use them for other things, I figured why not go ahead and save me the trouble of breaking this thing. I did of course pay money for it, so it's not like I would take out a hammer and smash $20 obviously. So why don't I just do something different with this thing? What we're going to be doing in today's video is showcasing a modification that I made to this thing. Now the modifications are not done just yet. As of the time of recording this segment of the video, I have a general idea of what I want to do. We will get back to you guys after I get done with the modified version of this thing and explain what exactly I did differently and how it looks different and how I just upgraded it in general. For a challenge though, I'm going to try to use as many of the original pieces of this set as I possibly can. Of course, the pieces that make up the Electromech, obviously. I'm not going to utilize parts from the other random things in this set, like Izor's cannon. I'm not going to be doing that. I just want to get all of these original pieces, or at least most of them, from this original model into my upgrades. So let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump over to the upgrade. It'll seem like seconds to you guys, but for me, it'll probably take a couple days. Let's go ahead and get to it. I will see you guys then. No, not yet. Can't do it yet. Okay, this is what I came up with. Took me a couple of days, and I will say, rewatching that original bit of footage that I initially had filmed with the original design, I was a lot happier then than I am now. This thing is a complete joke and tests my patience. However, I decided to upgrade it into this, if you can even call it an upgrade. So yeah, I'm not even sure where to start with this thing. So obviously I wanted to use a lot of the pieces, like I said, that were included in the mech while also adding some of my own, and I used most of them. This is what we had left over for pieces that I did not use. Pretty common stuff. I was not going to use those very large yellow discs for anything. In fact, I didn't really use any of the yellow pieces and just a couple of random other stuff in there, but I managed to use the majority, which is, you know, like what else? Like, what else did you want? I used the majority of the pieces to make this thing. Now, I will say, there is a section of this that I'm actually happy with, and that is the top of this thing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to completely dissect the thing, like so. Take this, stick that off to the side, and we're just going to take a look at the top part of the body, because I actually don't think this looks too bad. Now, I used the main body piece of the original Electromech to kind of build this. I ended up using the shoulder pads of the original for a canopy piece that kind of sits on top, and I gave Jay a windscreen. Something else that you might notice, lifting that up, is that Jay himself, he's just sitting in there. I took off the Legacy hood. I figured, why not just make Jay just full-on tournament Legacy Jay? If you're going to go ahead and make a Legacy Jay, why not just make it like the actual figure instead of mixing it up? I'll never understand why Juniors does that. In terms of these things in the back, I've added a couple more of them. The back of this thing also doesn't look all that great, to be honest. You can kind of see how those things are attached. Not the best option for that. And in terms of arms, what I ended up doing was I gave it some CCBS style joints. So lots of mobility in the arms, which is always good. I decided to give this hand a crusher claw, whatever. I don't really think that looks all that great, but hey, I tried. On the other arm, I managed to keep that little spinny blade thing, and it still does spin very well. I figured it could be used as like a shield or something, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I added to it. I kept these prints right there as well. The main thing that I wanted to do though was give it a canopy, a place for Jay to sit. I gave him a chair in there as well as some handlebars, so he actually has a place to sit instead of just standing there awkwardly, and you can just close that up and then it falls off. And I question a lot of things that go on in my existence, but you know, we'll just stick that back on there like so. It is quite difficult, but yeah, you can just close that up and never touch it again. Bringing back in the lower half of the body, let's touch on this thing. Talk about something testing your patience. This thing is Oh, I don't like these legs at all. But I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to use those original leg pieces, which I did do. These are the original legs. They go down to about right here and then they stop. I kind of got like a chicken leg thing going, so it kind of looks like that when it's all said and done, which isn't the worst design ever. I think I could have, made it a little more clean, but still, I wanted to do like, if I wasn't going to be able to make like legs how I wanted to do like the chicken leg design. I originally had left out these leg pieces, but I went back and thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I'm gonna include those somewhere, and I did in the legs. So mobility is still there. He can still kick. I've added an extra ball joint as well to add for a little bit more motion, so you can kind of balance that out and give him a look like that if you wanted to. The feet are not all that great either. I was trying to use some of the pieces that were included in this set, and the feet end up looking like this, which isn't the worst design ever, but it's still not perfect. I ended up using, again, CCBS stuff down here. Just kind of creates for a more, expressive pose. What doesn't create for a more expressive pose is just this in general. I couldn't figure out a way to make these legs move any more than just forward and back. So there's not going to be any spreading of the legs or anything like that. Bringing in a representative sample of something that I was going for here, just moving this out of the way. This is a Hero Factory figure from the 3.0 line from years ago. And you can kind of see that in terms of mobility, this thing over here doesn't have a lot. With this, you can actually make the legs spread a lot and, balance it out as such. Can't do that over here. So I wanted to give it at least some of that posability, hence why I included some of those same joints down in the ankles, taking away Stormer 3.0. Great figure, by the way. League's better than this thing. Bringing in the top half of the body again as it falls apart off screen. I'll just put that right there. I'll be right back. All right, so reattaching the entire thing, it's not the worst thing ever. I think it works to an extent, like my redesign. I think it works to an extent. It's certainly leagues better in my opinion than the original. I don't think it's too hard to make something that's better than the original, because the original really doesn't give you much competition, but it also doesn't give you that much freedom either. I've seen other people utilize these legs in very different ways, like the original legs, and it actually looks good. I don't build free stuff all that often. This is basically what I have right now, creating my own original design just based off of some of the pieces that came in this set. And I'll admit, this thing kind of defeated me in a lot of ways. But I want to think in a lot of ways that I defeated this thing too, especially with using these legs. The legs don't look the best here, but you can kind of see this mech as like kind of like a weird what do you call it, like an old school style mech, like something that you would see in maybe, I don't know what you would even see this in, the scrapyard perhaps. It looks like it was just thrown together with a bunch of random scraps and pieces. If you kind of squint your eyes and look at it, it almost looks like the original Electromech in a lot of ways, but ultimately, I'm going to have to admit defeat here for the most part. Not super happy with that. I'm not super happy with this final look. Again, I went into this project with a lot more optimism than what it was when I came out. Again, I think if you take a look at the upper body, I don't think that looks too bad. But the lower body, especially the legs, man, yeah, I'm not digging those legs. I don't think that it looks all that great from the back either, but what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? I've seen some people do it a lot better, but those people are like professional mockists. What am I going to do? I am going to dismantle this thing and use the pieces for other stuff that I actually care about. It's quite unfortunate, but that's just how it is. If you want a size comparison, here's a keeper. This Electromech overall, not a keeper. Not a keeper. Oh, there. I did it. So yeah, guys, that'll just about do it for my look at Jay's Electromech, the revamped mock that I made for it. Still not the best thing ever, but hey, tried my best, huh? Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this design. Do you like it more than the original? Do you not like it? I can understand if you don't like it. It's not the best thing on planet Earth. Just let me know. If I improved it in some way, feel free to let me know as well. Otherwise, I really don't think there's any save in this thing. I'd recommend you guys do it yourselves and send me videos of you making your own mocks, seeing what you guys can do with it. But otherwise, I'm going to call it quits from here. Going to go work on some other content. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you guys, understand that this thing is not fun. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.